Hey everybody, my name is Asia and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my first TBR of the new year, and that is my January TBR. This is also going to include my Winterween TBR, which I'm really excited for. It's kind of difficult because it's the first full week of January, and that's my last week of the semester, and then I have finals week. But for me, I don't have to really take finals because I'm a senior in high school, so I'm exempt from most of them. One of them I know that I have to take, but it won't even count. It's just for practice, which I don't even care about practice. But
it's not anger, it's just what's right and what's wrong, what's fair.
I'm kind of being required to take it, so I'm gonna take that. But finals week is not stressful for me like it is for a lot of other people who are in college. So I was like hoping it was going to be that week, but you know, alas, it's going to be my last week of the semester. They wanted to get a lot of our stuff done the week before break, so hopefully they won't pile on too much. I think it's just going to be mostly review and finishing up units, so hopefully I'll have a lot of time to finish my TBR. I actually have a book for each prompt, which I don't think I'll get to, but I'm hoping to. Also, if you hear banging in the background, my dad decided to do dishes right as I started to film, even though I told him I was going to film, and you know what, I'm just not going to bother him. If you hear the banging, I'm not bothering him about it. It's whatever, it's fine.
But you did this for what? Why not? Why? Why not? Why though?
But I need to film while there's still daylight, so I apologize. Also, I know that Christmas is over, but I'm probably not going to take down my decorations, and I'm going to be pre-filming, so you guys will probably see the Christmas and holiday decorations in the next couple videos, honestly, probably till the end of January if I'm honest. You know, I've rambled for a lot of this video already, so let's just jump into the books that I'm going to be reading in January. So as usual, I'm going to be talking about the books that I need to read for read-alongs, buddy reads, all that stuff in the very beginning, and then I'll have a timestamp down below or on the screen. I have to remember to put it down in the description box if you guys just want to see what I'm going to be reading for Winterween, but I'm going to be talking about the books that I need to read first. So the first one is Sky Beyond the Storm by scifi. This is for the Ember Along. This is our last book. This was supposed to be our December book, but because of some people's work and things like that, we had to push the live show back until January 23rd, and it's going to be at 2 p.m. EST. So I just wanted to make sure that I read this close enough to the live show where I would remember things. So I'm going to be reading this in January instead of December, and I'm excited because I've heard from a lot of people this is actually their favorite book in the series. It's a really good conclusion, and I know it's going to tear my heart out, and I think it's one of the biggest in the series. Actually, I really do love this series, and I'm excited to finish it and discuss with all my friends. And if you don't know what the series is about, we follow two characters named Laia and Elias, and they live in a Roman-inspired empire. So Laia's family was basically all killed by the empire, and her brother was taken by the empire. So she tries to go to the resistance, which is kind of like people trying to rise up against the empire because her parents were actually leaders of the resistance before they were killed. So she goes to the resistance asking them for help. They're like, if you do this mission for us, we'll get your brother. She's sent into this training facility called Blackcliff, where they train masks, which are like the most highly trained and deadly assassins that work for the empire. And our main character Elias is actually a mask, and he's actually the son of the commandant, who is the top person in Blackcliff. And Elias doesn't want to be a mask, just so you guys know. He's one of the only masks that are like, I hate this, I hate the empire, I hate everything. So yeah, I'm just really excited to complete this series because I love it so much. The next book that I have to read is Lakewood by Megan Golden.
Wait a damn minute. What?
Not me messing up the author's last name. I hate it here.
And this is a horror, I believe, and this is for the Sacks of Strange book club that I'm in with a whole bunch of other people, and I will link the Instagram and everything down below if you want to keep up with us, because we announced our books from January to March. The first quarter we announced all of them, and for January it's going to be Lakewood. And I don't really know much about this book. All I know is that it has to do with this experiment place in Lakewood, Michigan, and so they are doing experiments to try and cure different diseases and do different things. And I believe our main character is black, and in this book actually has like a lot of commentary on race and class. She drops everything to go and get a job and be like one of the people experimented on, I believe, because it seems too good to be true, which it is. And like it has like long-lasting impacts on her in her life, and this one just sounds like it's going to be really good and thought-provoking and good for discussion, so I'm really excited to read this and discuss it with the Sacks of Strange girls. The next book is going to be Royally Screwed by Emma Chase, and this book is for the Swoon Sisters book club that is hosted by me and Nicole from Who Picked This Book. This is our January book, and again for this book club we announced our books for January through March, so I'll link the Instagram, the Twitter, and I also have an announcement video which I go over all the books and how the book club's going to be working, and I will have that linked up above. I think it's this side, I'm pretty sure, and I'll have it linked down below so you guys can look at what book picks we're gonna have.
And this is when my mom started to dig in the closet, making the most noise possible, and I hated my life.
Girl, take it easy.
So as I said, for this month we're going to be reading Royally Screwed by Emma Chase, and this is actually a reread for me, and I really loved this book the first time that I read it. I don't really remember too much about it, and I don't really want to, but I remember that I loved it so much, and I know it's a romance between like a main like normal town girl and a prince, and I believe the main character, her and her dad own a bakery, which it's so cute, and I remember the banter here was just everything. So I'm just really excited to reread it, and I know a lot of people were going to join us for this month, so I'm really excited. And our live show for this is going to be February 1st at 7 p.m. EST. I don't know whose channel it's going to be on yet, but again, that's why we have the Instagram and the Twitter, and I will put announcements for it on my community page as well. And as I said, I'm just really excited to read this, and the audiobooks for this whole series are on Scribd, so if you want to join us and you have Scribd, you definitely can. I'm also going to be doing another reread this month, and that is of Middle Game by Shauna McGuire. This is going to be a buddy read with me, Mel from Mel Reads, and Sarah from Coffee, Tea and Me. I read this book earlier in 2020 because I'm filming this in 2020 right now, but I read this in 2020 at some point. I think it was probably April or May, and I did enjoy it. I gave it 3.5 stars the first time, but then I raised it to 4 stars, and I think I would really love this. It just kind of dragged for me when I was originally reading it. I was just getting back into reading after being on like a 2-month hiatus because of school, and I was like refusing to get the audiobook of this because I didn't have it. So I was reading it physically, and it's pretty big, so it was just kind of dragging. So I'm definitely going to get the audiobook of this, and I think this has the potential to bump up to a full 5 stars and even be like a favorite, because I think about this book more than a lot of books. Most books I kind of read them and just forget them after like a month, maybe 2 months, but this one I distinctly remember things that occur. And so in this book we follow 2 characters, and their names are Roger and Dodger, and they're twins, and they were kind of created for this experiment, and this book has a lot of basis in alchemy, so they were created to serve a purpose in this world, and they're raised separately, and Dodger is really good.
Me trying to remember what the book is about, LeMayo.
And Dodger is really good at mathematics and science and things like that, while Roger is really good with words and language, and so they have their unique talents. As I said, they're raised separately, but we followed them as kids when they kind of had this connection and could communicate in their heads, but they didn't know each other existed, so they were like, what is going on? And their parents probably thought they were crazy. And then the second half is us following them as adults and like everything coming to fruition. I'm just really excited to reread this because, as I said, I think it could be a full 5 stars, and yeah, I think about this book a lot, so I think it'll be a good time to reread it. And this is the last book that I'm going to be talking about that's not part of my Winterween TBR, and this one has a bent quarter, which makes me sad, but that is A Heart of Blood and Ashes by Mila Vane, and I'm going to be doing a buddy read of this with Justice from Aries Library. I don't know if we're going to be doing this in January because she requested it from her library, and whenever it comes in we're going to be reading this, but I just wanted to mention it here. I honestly have no clue what this is about, besides that it is a fantasy romance, and it's very much like Game of Thrones kinds of vibes with this world, but like better, because Game of Thrones, we all know, talks about women in such a very negative way that a lot of people don't like. So this is a lot better with it, and I heard that the fantasy is just amazing here and the romance is great. And yeah, I'm really excited about this because Nicole from Who Picked This Book constantly talks about this series, so I was like, let me put it on my wish list, and Nicole bought it for me for my birthday. And then Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life has recently read this and raved about it, so I'm just excited to read this. So hopefully it comes in from the library and Justice and I can buddy read it this month. So now moving on to my Winterween TBR. Obviously I'm just going to run through the 5 prompts. The first prompt is to read a book with haunt in the title, and I don't have any books that I haven't read that have the word haunt in it, at least none that are like thrillers. And this month I'm going to try, and besides the books that I have to read, like the 4 or 5, the rest of the time I'm going to try and be focusing specifically on thrillers, maybe a couple romances thrown in there, but I really just want to focus on thrillers this month. And so I decided to go with The Haunting of Bryn Wilder, which is the book club book. I know nothing about this, and if any book is going to fall to the wayside this week, it's going to be that book, because I don't know anything about it. It wasn't originally on my TBR, so it'll probably fall to the wayside, honestly. unless I complete all 5 books. But this is on Kindle Unlimited, so I decided to add this to complete the prompt just because it is the group book. So the next prompt is to read a book with blue on the cover, and for that I'm going to go with When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. Everybody loves Alyssa Cole, and this is her first thriller. I've been meaning to read this since October. Like, me and somebody else are supposed to buddy read this in October, and we never got to it.
Y'all need some lip gloss. Y'all mouth getting dry talking about the same thing.
But I'm really excited to get to this book because I know this one is similar to Lakewood in a way where it discussed a lot about class and race. And this one is a thriller, that one is a horror. So they both discuss it in genres that are not normally discussed in, because it's normally discussed in like contemporary and things like that. And this I know has to do with gentrification. And yeah, I'm just really excited because I've heard nothing but amazing things about this thriller. And obviously like the whole cover is basically blue. So it definitely completes this prompt. So the next prompt is to read a book in the dark. And for this, I'm going to go with The Ballad of Black Tom. And this one is also going to complete the prompt, read a short story or novella. And I had another book for this, but then I was like, I don't want to read that completely in the dark, especially because it's an audiobook. So I'm just going to fall asleep is what's going to happen. So this one is a novella and it's pretty short. And I got a Kindle for Christmas. So it's a Kindle Paperwhite. So the screen does light up. So I could definitely read it in the dark with that. So yeah, I have this on Kindle and it is a horror short story. I know nothing about it. I was looking for horror written by Black authors, and this one is written by a Black author. So I'm really excited to get to it. The next prompt is to read a book in a wintry setting. And for that, I'm going to go with 5 Total Strangers. And I know nothing really about this book. I heard that it's kind of like the YA version of No Exit. I did not know that this was YA, but this girl is trapped in a car with 4 other strangers, and they're obviously like in like some sort of like blizzard. And like all the books that I have that are in wintry settings are not really like stuff I want to pick up immediately, but I'm trying to complete the prompts. So I have this one on here, and it is pretty short, and I feel like it'll go by kind of quick considering it's a thriller. Hopefully I like it, because if I'm going with the thoughts that it's going to be like No Exit and it's not, and it's like really disappointing.
See this what we not finna do. See this what we not finna do. See this what we not finna do. This not what we about.
So this next book I originally had for the prompt, read this book in the dark, but it's kind of long, as I said, and it's an audiobook, and it does kind of complete the prompt, read a book with blue on the cover. And I really just want to get to this book so bad. I want to read Karen Slaughter really bad. And I was going to start with The Good Daughter, which definitely has blue on the cover, but a lot of people say that's actually her weaker of the 2 books. So I'm going to go with Pretty Girls, which I just have on audio. I don't have it physically, but I just really want to get to this book, even though it doesn't really technically, like, I'm not putting it for a prompt. This is like one of the books that is highest on my TBR for this week. I'm just really excited for this book because it seems like it's going to be so good, and like I just loved messed up books and messed up thrillers. So I know this one is going to be my cup of tea, and I'm just really excited because everybody raves about Karen Slaughter. So those are all the books on my January TBR. It's kind of like a bigger TBR just because of Winterween, but Winterween's only 1 week, and if you count the other 3 weeks, that's only like what, 4 to 5 books. So I should be able to complete this TBR hopefully. And if I don't complete some of the books for Winterween, like if I don't read Pretty Girls during Winterween, I'll probably read it anyways during the other weeks of the month, just because I really want to read that one, and like When No One Is Watching as well, and The Ballad of Black Tom. Those 3 are definitely my highest for Winterween. But that's all that I have for this video today. Tell me if you guys are going to be participating in Winterween down below. I would love to know, and if you guys are making a TBR for it, link me to it because I would love to see it. But that's all that I have for this video today, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!
You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in moments we live in, yeah. You got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby, I'm